Welcome to the Real Estate Ripple. I'm Christy.
I'm Megan.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Joe.
This is your go-to podcast for everything real estate, lending, and local market insights.
Whether you're a realtor, mortgage pro, or part of the vibrant real estate community here in Joliet and the surrounding areas, we're here to bring you the tips, tools, and strategies to help you thrive.
From the latest market trends and lending updates to expert interviews and local spotlights, the Real Estate Ripple dives deep into what's shaping property scene.
We'll help you stay ahead of the curve with actionable advice, fun stories, and plenty of expert insight to help you and your clients make the right moves.
So whether you're unlocking new opportunities or navigating tricky transactions, we're here to help make your journey smoother, smarter, and more successful.
Subscribe to the Real Estate Ripple today,
where every conversation creates waves in the world of real estate.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Ripple, where we talk about decisions, stories, and strategies that create a ripple effect in your real estate business and your life. I'm Christy.
And I'm Joe. And today we're tackling a topic that every realtor will face at some point in their career: roof damage, insurance claims, and how to best advocate for your clients.
Yes, and this is actually a big one that some of our clients are facing right now. And we have the perfect guest for this today, who I personally have worked with on my own house. So joining us today is John Kozlar from Caravan Roofing, not only a roofing expert, but he is also a licensed attorney who understands the legal and insurance side of claims better than anyone we know. John, welcome to the Real Estate Ripple.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So, hey, John, before we dive in, tell us quickly about your background. You know, roofing and law is not a typical pairing. So explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I've been a lawyer for about 10 years, and a friend of mine from college, we actually got into the roofing industry a few years ago. So what we were basically, you never know the roofing industry until you get into it, but a lot of the insurance claims that we were dealing with had a lot of relation to law. So when you think about an insurance policy, it's a legal document. And a lot of homeowners respectfully don't, read their policy because it's, they have a lot of other things to worry about in life. And so this 45-page document is something that us nerds, I guess, in a way, look at all the details, and that insurance companies hopefully, don't want people to look at. So there's a big intertwine between law and roofing, because a majority of our clients at Caravan Roofing are people that are going through homeowners claims, especially after major storms. So what we do is we tie the law and the insurance claims together and basically do our best to make sure that the homeowner is represented properly.
Can you walk us through how you would help the homeowner?
Yeah, so there's a few things. So kind of at the beginning, there is a storm, or if a homeowner thinks that they have some kind of issues with their roof itself. So what we do is we first take a look at the roof to see if there's any damage up there, where we literally do a pretty thorough inspection of not only the roof, but their siding, gutters, any kind of metals around their property, fencing. And we just identify stuff that can be potentially claim worthy, because what we don't like to do, that some roofing companies from out of state tend to do, is just file a bunch of claims and hopefully a few stick, without doing their homework, so to speak, and actually inspect the property to make sure there's legitimate damage.
Right.
So we do, the first thing is make sure, is there damage and is it worthy of filing a claim? Otherwise, we'll have a conversation with the homeowner saying, hey, this might be a little bit difficult for a claim, and we don't want to put you in a bad position where we file a claim and you get denied off the bat. So we have a conversation if we think there is storm damage up there, and if there is, we walk them through the insurance policy process. And if there isn't, then we talk about, okay, here's your damages, and here's like a cost out of pocket, so to speak, if we don't do the insurance claim. But so the first step is always do the initial inspection. And then after that, if it is a claim-worthy insurance claim, the next step will be to walk them through the process of dealing with their insurance company.
John, I can appreciate everything that you just said because I recently went through having my home inspected for some storm damage. And what my insurance company told me, and tell me what you know about this, is that if the homeowner makes a claim and they send an adjuster out and then their adjuster determines that there is no claim, like there's no damage,
Mhm.
is it true that my insurance premiums may go higher next year even though nothing was paid out?
Right. So the one urban myth is, and this is where we deal with some clients. They say, "Well, hey, I might not want to file a claim because my homeowner's insurance is going to go up." And the truth is, insurance companies handle premiums based on your zip code. So what does that mean? If your neighbor gets a new roof through an insurance company, your rate can go up. So it's not an individual claim that determines the premiums. It's the zip code on how many claims are being filed. And we saw a perfect example of this year actually with State Farm. If you had a claim or you did not have a claim on your property, your insurance premium was going up anywhere between 20 and 33%. And that's just in one calendar year. So I think people are realizing, hey, I was hesitant to file a claim because I was worried about my premium going up. And then they're realizing, wait, we never even had a claim and our premiums going up. So they're saying, well, if we have storm damage up there and our premium's going to go up anyway, we might as well try to investigate this to see if we have a worthy claim to get the insurance approved for a new roof.
The homeowner thinks that they might have a claim, they would call you and you would come out personally, look it over, help them out, and then help them with the process of possibly filing.
Right, right. So the first thing is to just meet the homeowner out there because if they're making a referred, like if we got referred from another customer or they just found us on the internet, we like to make that personal connection. Just so one, they realize we're not just some flyby roofing company that is just trying to take their money or file a claim and then leave afterwards. We actually care about our customers and follow up with them throughout the year because if there's any issues that come up even after the roof gets built, we're always on top of it and making sure we build a relationship. But yeah, when the first call happens, I meet them out there personally, walk them through the insurance claim process, and we don't file a claim unless they're on board with it. They feel comfortable. Yes, this is, and a lot of it's on me explaining the process. So if there's any things that they don't understand, I make sure to do my best to explain it to them because we don't want anybody to get in a situation where they're uncomfortable. Number one, or number two, they don't know what the next step is. So after I meet them out there, and then I explain the process to them, we get the claim filed. And as you were saying, the insurance company. So let's say the claim is filed. What's the next step? So the insurance company is going to send out their representative to do their inspection. So the insurance company says, "Hey, we want to make sure there's damage up there, and we're going to send out either somebody directly affiliated with the insurance company, which would be the adjuster, or a third party, which the insurance company hires specifically to do the inspection." And if there's one thing I want people to take away from this meeting here, do not go into a claim without being represented by somebody, either a roofer, a contractor, or a public adjuster or an attorney, because when they send out their team to do the inspection, meaning the insurance company, you want to make sure you also have somebody representing you at the time of inspection.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is it's an insurance company, and insurance
Mhm.
companies have investors. And if they're on their roof, the insurance company or their representative, and there is legit damage up there, in my experience, sometimes that adjuster, for whatever reason, doesn't identify that damage. So,
They don't want to pay. They don't want to pay the claim.
right, they don't want to pay the claim, and that's why it's very important that the homeowner's representative, whether it's the roofer, the contractor, or PA, is there at the time of inspection identifying the damage with the insurance's representative. So everybody's on the same page. And not only that, like I always take no less than 100 pictures per roof that I inspect because I want to make sure that the damages that I see is something that they're aware of. And sometimes if they don't take the proper photos, I have that backup to say, hey, these are the photos that show the damage. Where are they in your file that you somehow missed?
Yeah.
I will speak from experience. You get on the roof with the adjuster. So Johnny is literally walking with the adjuster up on the roof taking photos.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And believe it, so we actually had a few clients this year. They were represented by a roofer, but it might have been a fly-by roofer, right? It could have been from out of state, or they just don't care about the quality of their company. So we had ones where the roofer either didn't show up, they signed on with the homeowner and they didn't show up at the inspection, or they didn't take enough photos at the time of inspection. So the homeowner would get denied. And then the roofer would be like, oh, well, at least we tried. But that's where the policy language comes in. You might have damage up there, still get denied, but not have the resources to then win the claim after that. So we had people who got denied with a different roofing company with an insurance claim, and then we were able to come in and get them a fully approved. So I would tell people, even if you have a claim within the last few months to a year and you got denied, it's not the end all be all. You might have your foot in the door, so to speak, and still have a viable claim to get you fully approved. It's just you need somebody like, myself or Caravan Roofing, or there's a number of good roofers out there that know how to process the claim and represent you well, even if you do get denied on the first round.
Denied, it doesn't mean that you're done and that you can't get a roof covered by your insurance,
Correct.
but
Yeah,
through storm damage.
right. And we've had a number of situations this year alone where they did get denied, and then we come in and we help them from the policy language get approved. So I would tell people, even if you get denied and you need a little, if you lost a little bit of hope, don't give up, because there's still ways to get you approved. And you getting denied could have been not your fault at all. It could have been maybe your roofer didn't do a good job. Maybe your insurance adjuster didn't do a good job at the time of inspection. So it's very important to not give up and to contact the right parties to represent you. Because I've had a couple of situations where the insurance company, when they send out their inspector, the inspector didn't get on the roof itself. They just took photos and then sent a denial. But that's where, the roofer has to do
That's a
their due
red flag
diligence.
there.
Yeah. Oh, it's actually and if the insurance company does not get on the roof and they finalize a claim, meaning they deny it, that's spoiler, that's potentially fraud, because you can't do a full inspection thoroughly without going on the roof. You have to go on the roof or have some kind of device, be it a drone that does the full roof inspection, because each shingle in insurance policies must be inspected individually. And that's why you'll see some
Interesting.
claims that will say, hey, 0 damage, or 5 shingles damage, or 10, or here's a full replacement. So, yeah, it's getting pretty interesting in the insurance world in the sense of claims going.
So, Johnny, we're talking about these claims, and storms don't happen every day. And immediately after a storm, the homeowner goes outside and kind of just looks. But what happens if like time passes by, and then you're like, well, maybe that was due to the storm? How long does a homeowner have to be able to make a claim on a storm?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it depends on the insurance company, but a majority of insurance companies will say you have 1 year from the date of the storm to file a claim. So if a storm happened on May 1st of 2025, you have until May 1st, 2026 for that specific storm to file a claim. And the other part is, okay, well, let's say you get approved by a claim. Some companies say, all right, well, you got approved for a brand new roof. We're going to give you 6 months to complete the job. Otherwise, we're not going to pay out fully. Or sometime, but a majority of companies, it's 1 year to file the claim from the date of the storm, and 1 to 2 years to get the job done as far as whatever they approved. Otherwise, we did have a client this year. They filed a claim in 2023, got, I think, like, let's just say 10 shingles for repair. We stepped in, they got fully approved, but because it was past the 2 year mark, the insurance company only paid out 40%. So
Oh.
they went a full approval, said, hey, we're going to fully approve your roof. But because it's past the 2 year limitation of getting the roof, sorry, 2 year limitation from getting the project completed, we're only going to pay you the actual cost value. And all that means is pretty much either half or 40% or 30%. So it gets a little bit tricky the longer you wait, not only from filing the claim, but completing the work too.
So the moral of the story is, if you think you have a claim, tend to it right away.
Yeah, if you think
Right.
if you think you have a claim, or even if you think you had a big storm come in and you just want somebody to say, "Hey, I'm not sure if I want to file a claim, but I just want to make sure I don't have any damage up there." I tell people take advantage of the storm, because you want to make sure if you do have damage that you're properly represented in filing a claim, and two, the whole statute of limitations of filing a claim, you have usually 1 year from the date of the storm. And let's just say, here's a pretty good example. If you have a major storm and there is damage, and there's satellite imagery that shows there is damage, and then you wait for another storm, the insurance company can say, "Hey, this storm damage was from a year ago or 2 years ago."
Oh, yeah.
So they have satellite imagery. If you did have legitimate damage and you waited more than a year, they can blame the previous storm for the damage, which is past the time to file the claim. So getting back to your point, yeah, the minute you see there's a big storm come in, bare minimum, have somebody come out and take a look at it to see if there's any damage.
Okay. So, let's say that we call you and somebody calls you, and what typically does the homeowner have to be prepared for? Is there any paperwork that they need to pull together when you arrive? Is there, I mean, what does it look like once you arrive?
So the claim process. So once you show the homeowner, and what I like to do, I like to show the homeowner pictures of damage I see up there, or if I think there's a lot of storm damage, kind of give them my opinion. But once they approve that they do want to do a claim process, the next step is them basic information. It could be a policy number, it could be the phone number that's linked to their policy, the insurance company information, and a lot of them I have the insurance contacts as far as the claim department. But it's a very easy process once the homeowner agrees. Now, once the homeowner agrees to file a claim, the claim is filed. The next step is going to be that inspection. So, insurance company sends out the inspector. I meet them out there as well, and then after that, it could be a number of things. It could be a full denial, which is what we don't like to see, meaning, hey, you have zero damage up there. That's not the end of the game, believe it or not. It could be, hey, which is a majority, hey, repair X number of shingles. Yeah, you have let's just say, we'll put an easy number out there. You have 100 shingles on your roof, 10 of them are damaged. Contractor, repair 10 of them. Or the other option, which is the ones that we love to see, is, hey, full approval, nothing more needed, no more inspections, and homeowner, here's the check for your contractor to get started. And then contractor, when you finish, send us it's called a certificate of completion, knowing that the work was completed. And then the insurance company will then release more funds usually. But to break that down, you don't want a full denial. Makes things a little more difficult. Again, not the end of the world if you know the policy language, because you can ask for a reinspection. So again, the first inspector by the insurance company, they're human. They could have 10 different claims that day they have to inspect, and they can maybe try to rush through it and don't identify damage. So you have the right as an insured. Insured just means the homeowner who has the policy. They're allowed a reinspection. Now, the insurance company will do everything in their power to say, "Oh no, we're not going to do a reinspection." But if you have somebody who knows what they're doing and knows the policy language, they can highlight the policy language and say, "No, we're actually entitled to it. Here's a lot of photos showing that there was damage, and sorry, insurance company, your adjuster or inspector missed it." So that's why it's crucial to take the photos to have that in the file for the homeowner.
I will say from my personal experience, my insurance company, as you know, Johnny, mine was very easy to work with, but my neighbors was difficult. And as a homeowner, they really didn't have to do much with it. You kind of jumped in and helped out with when theirs got denied. You helped out with the homeowners when it came to helping with the reinspection and helping with challenging that, correct?
Right, right. So I kind of put it analogy when to legal one, but when you walk into a courtroom, you want to have your attorney there present, and your attorney is going to guide you on the next steps, because there are some things that, you want to protect yourself in saying or doing that you don't want to impact your claim in a negative way. So that's why it's very important to be represented. That's why I step in, walk step by step with my clients and kind of give them my opinion on how best to move forward depending on the initial result from that inspection.
Leading from there, what's the biggest mistake homeowners make in those conversations?
So homeowners can do a few things that are kind of detrimental to their claim, just not knowing it. And that could come down to, and keep in mind, the insurance companies also know what the questions they're asking to, in my opinion, corner homeowners and to say the wrong thing. So one of the things that homeowners might not know is what is storm damage, right? They don't know what, and the top two storm damage in Illinois is hail and wind. And the homeowner might not know the statute of limitations, or they can say, for instance, storm damage that, storms happen pretty often in Illinois, depending on what part of the state you live. So, and insurance companies, for instance, one question they'll say, "Hey, have you had any previous storms?" And a homeowner's like, obviously, well, yeah, I've had storms before. And then boom, insurance company's going to say, "Hey, it was from over a year
Uh-huh.
ago, the storm. Therefore,
Yeah,
you're no longer covered."
yeah.
So that's why we ask the homeowners, "Hey, let us do the processing because we're able to tell storm damage. And if you had, and we also have our software that determines what storms cause what damage, the size of the hail, the the miles per hour of the wind. So all that is something that, we're like an all around type of. We have an arsenal of things that help the homeowners because homeowners might not have the software or know the policy language. So we have all that provided to them. So that's where it comes in for us too. We don't file claims just to file them. We have to make sure that there are legitimate storms in the area with legitimate damage.
Right, because you gotta keep your name reputable.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah. And then that's one of the pitfalls but the insurance companies, again, they're not the most easy to deal with. They'll try to corner the homeowner with storm dates, have their inspector come out who again could be flawed and not identify actual damage. And it comes down to making sure that you take the proper photos for the homeowner to say, no, like here is the damage and here's a photo of it and here's the slope on your roof that maybe the inspector didn't really see or spend much time there. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, those are different things that homeowners we ask kind of put us in charge, so to speak, but at the same time don't negate the fact that they're going to have questions to the homeowner and you have to really walk them through it because this might be a stressful time. We had a homeowner who lived through a tornado and a full tree fell on his roof and a big insurance company was not too friendly and they went 45 days with a legitimate hole. Like I'm not talking a hail or a wind damage shingle. We're talking a tree fell through his roof and
My
he had a
gosh.
major hole in there. Yeah. So, and you would hope that, all these commercials we see from insurance companies live up to them having the backs of homeowners. And we've seen many instances where that was not the case. So very important to be represented properly.
Yeah, that kind of leads to my next question. With the amount of claims that I'm assuming that's like it's increasing because of all the weather related incidents we're having. Are insurance companies, in your opinion, tightening up on approvals?
It's a good question. In my opinion, because and I'm not bragging, we're good at what we do. So we hold the insurance companies accountable, but industry wide in talking with the supplier. So you kind of see how a roofing season, quote unquote, does by talking with the suppliers in the sense of how are their sales going. And I think this year across the board, the suppliers were down 20 or 30% as far as roofers having purchasing materials. So I think to answer your question, they might be tightening up, but that could be due to just negligence the inspectors. It could be not being represented properly. It could be investors telling insurance companies, "Hey, we paid out a lot this year. What's going on?" Mm,
Yeah.
And yeah, it could be a number of things. And I think most of the time, and it's all speculation, is the insurance company telling their inspectors not to identify damage. That's why I don't leave it I don't leave it in the insurance company's hands to determine whether or not there's damage up there because I document it pretty well if I think there is damage. and you have to make sure you take enough photos. But you never know if the insurance companies are telling their inspectors, "Hey, don't identify damage." I mean, like I said, I'm speculating. I don't have proof of it, but there is money. They're not billion-dollar corporations for a reason. I'll put it like that. And
Yeah.
I like my side because I'm representing the homeowner for rightful claims, and it's important because it's a good feeling when a homeowner who's paying their premiums, who's seeing their premiums increase, get what they deserve. And a lot of times it's a new roof, a new siding, new gutters. But it is rewarding when you see them get what's owed to them from the insurance.
Yeah. Johnny, can you give us your top 3 tips for homeowners and realtors when it comes to roof claims and repairs?
I would say number one, make sure you do your homework on who you're hiring. Yeah, I don't knock door knocking. That's a part of the industry for you to advertise your business. Just be careful who you have representing you and be careful what you sign because kind of a good example. So if you sign a paperwork with roofer A and they do a bad job as far as processing your claim, they will, and then you hire roofer B to get you approved. Roofer A can say, "Hey, you owe us a percentage of the claim that roofer B got you approved for." And I had this
True.
happen. I had this happen this year. So homeowner signed down on roofer A in the contract that said roofer A is able to get 30% of any future claim payout. Roofer A did not get the homeowner approved. Roofer B got the homeowner approved, but roofer A was like, "Hey, this even though we didn't do anything, homeowner, you still owe us 30% of what you got
Whoa.
approved for." So you got to be very, very careful. One, what you're signing, and two, I don't really put people in that position. I kind of like say, and hey, just give me your word if we process the claim and we get you approved that you'll use my roofing company because when you have people sign documents, it does protect the roofer. Like I said, there was a couple times where you get burned and it stings and it's not fun at all. But you got to be very careful of what you're signing. Number one, and number two, who you're signing with. So if it's an out of state roofer who's just trying to file a bunch of claims and you don't really have storm damage, then now that's on you as a homeowner because you have a claim that could potentially have been denied and it impacts you of getting approved in the future potentially.
Yeah.
So be careful of that of who you sign up with. Number two, the quality of the materials they're using. So if they're
Yeah.
putting up a crappy shingle, so let's say you get approved, whether it's insurance or you just sign on with them to out of pocket to do their work, you want to make sure the materials they're using is good quality. So if you put a bad quality shingle up there or any bad quality materials, it could have an impact in moving forward. So again, if they're out of state roofers, they put a crappy material on, they're gone.
Yeah.
And if you have any future issues, and if you have the best shingle and 100 miles per hour winds, you're going to have an issue. It is tough. So that's why you want to have somebody that's going to be local or going to be around or refer, knowing that, hey, they're in the area often. They care about their business name. If you have any, little issues with your roof afterwards, that they're going to be there to fix it. Because no roofing company's perfect. No cleanup is perfect. No shingle is going to be perfect after a major storm. So you might have little repairs you need down the road, but it's having that relationship with your roofer that if you do have any issues, that they're there to fix anything
Right.
after doing your roof. And then the third thing I would say is making sure you know the process. Like if you're uncomfortable with any part of the process that you're aware of, hey, what's the next steps if I file a claim? Or, like we mentioned earlier, hey, is my premium going to go up? So you kind of like settle their any nervous thoughts they might have or them having any unknowns with the insurance process, that everybody's on the same page. They're not putting themselves in a position to where they might feel uncomfortable, even if it's after an approval or a partial approval. Like, oh shoot, I got denied, or hey, I only got 10 shingles approved. Is this going to have an impact on me in moving forward? And my answer to that is if you got denied or a partial approval, we don't give up. We keep our foot on the gas and make sure that insurance companies are held accountable.
Been so incredibly informative, Johnny. You've really clarified how complex and manageable this whole process is. And personally, I can say you make the whole thing very easy. I have used you, I've had clients who have used you. I've had friends and my neighbors have also worked with you, and the getting a new roof feels like such a scary thing, but, and making all the claims feels like a big thing, but you really made it very manageable, and with the right guidance, that you make a big process very easy to do.
Yeah, and to echo what Christy had just mentioned, I mean, it's this podcast. Obviously, it's no secret that you're an expert at what you do, and you're really, really good at what you do. So, for our listeners who may want to contact you and learn a little bit more about, Caravan Roofing and the services that you provide, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so the best thing is so my website, it's caravanroofing.com. So CARAV as in Virginia, caravanroofing.com. Phone number 312-823-7788. Again, 312-823-7788. And I always tell people, like, even if you don't hire me and you have any questions, we're a phone call or a text message away. It's very easy for me. It's rewarding just to walk people through the process. And if we win a client, great. If we don't, at least they're hopefully leaving the conversation with a little bit more information to where they can move forward with knowledge and impact their decision making. So that's what we hopefully gain at the end of the conversation. And I tell people, when you have your new roof, it's a lot less stress. Your premiums could potentially go down because you're less of a liability in the eyes of the insurance company at that point. And not only that, you don't have to worry about it for another 25, 30 years, and your property value goes up too. So that, and tying in the real estate, and I know Christy's a great realtor, and it's one of those things where if you get a brand new roof, your home sale might go up. So it's just one
Yeah.
less stress somebody has to worry about in moving forward.
Yeah, and also there's some issues with getting insurance on old roofs right now.
Right.
So, getting that new roof makes it a little easier on the insurance processing too.
Oh, big time.
So, yeah. Yeah. Well, we will put your contact information in our show notes. But thank you again, Johnny, for joining us today.
Yeah, and for all the listeners that are out there, if this episode created a ripple for you and this is something that very, very interesting, or of somebody who could benefit from this information, please do us a favor and share it with them. Don't hold this information just and be selfish to yourself. Share it with them so that others that need to hear it actually can hear it.
Yes. And please don't forget to like, follow, and leave a review. It helps us make a bigger ripple in the world of real estate, in the industry that we love, and it helps us spread the word.
All right. John, thanks again. And to everybody else, we'll see you next time on the Real Estate Ripple.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Real Estate Ripple. We hope you're walking away with some valuable insights and a fresh perspective on the world of real estate.
Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Whether you're on the go or closing deals, we've got you covered every week.
And if you've enjoyed today's show, we'd love for you to leave a review and share the Real Estate Ripple with your fellow realtors, lenders, and anyone looking to stay ahead in this ever-changing market.
Until next time, keep making waves in the world of real estate.